Welcome to the Real Aesthetic Podcast, a real deal on like aesthetics and stuff.
Oh, we've been rolling this whole time.
He was my gopher.
I'm your host, Alexis Arsenis. We're going to have a good time here. Welcome back to the Real Aesthetic Podcast, a show where we dive deep into the world of aesthetics, business, and entrepreneurship. But today's episode is completely different. Typically, we kind of stick to like health and wellness, but we're actually doing this new series called the Local Business Spotlight. So we're going to be interviewing local businesses to see kind of like their struggles and more of on the entrepreneurship side, not just as to promote their business, but to see what struggles they went through, how did they work through them, and maybe inspire others that may want to get into those businesses, and then help everyone grow is really kind of our goal here. So today we have someone who's never done a podcast before, right?
That's correct.
I'm so excited. Jillian Dunn, she is the owner of Northshore Vacuum, who's been in business since 1934, correct?
Yes, correct.
That's unbelievable. So I'm so excited to have you here. You guys offer an array of different services and
products as well.
Products, thank you.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be on the show. And like you said, it's my first time. So
yeah, no need to be nervous. This is no stress. It's supposed to be just like super fun.
Yeah.
So your dad bought in 1989, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So was he like friends with the original owner? Like how did that work out?
So this is actually a family business. So great uncle and then another great uncle. So I'm actually fifth generation.
Oh, so I didn't know it was your family. Because when I read what you sent me, I didn't know if your dad had purchased it from somebody else.
So he bought it from my great uncle. So it's actually my mom's side of the family.
That's
and
so
my
cool.
Dad decided to jump in and give it a try. And
so
he
that
loved
must
it.
be so amazing to have a business that's still afloat and doing well.
It's very fulfilling.
Like
it makes me so happy. Like being able to carry this on, like 91 years. Like that's
crazy.
It's unheard of. So
yeah,
it's amazing.
What are some struggles that you feel like you faced when you took over though? Because I feel like, having a business that has such a long history and how the times have changed, right? Like, we're not marketing the same way. What are some things that you went through when you took over?
It's unbelievable. Like the amount of changes. So when I took over, I was actually paying off my dad's contract that he had with the Yellow Pages. We were advertising in the Yellow Pages, and every time I had to make that payment, I cringed because I was like, "Who is reading the Yellow Pages?" And
do they even still have the Yellow Pages?
Yes, I think that they still do because up until I think last year, I was paying for that contract.
That is so crazy.
So we did away with that finally once my contract was up. But I mean, social media is huge, not something that was really done previously. So that's been something that we've been really trying to focus on and just trying to help grow the business in that sense. That's definitely been one major struggle. Another one is just being a female business owner.
It's so difficult.
It is. It is very different than if I always think like, well, if I was a guy, things would have been different. I would have got that job. Like I know for sure that I've not got jobs because of the fact that I'm a female. It's mind blowing that people still like have that mentality, but it's like, you know what? All right, that's their thing. I'm just going to continue doing my thing.
But like, look at you. You own a business that's been in business for 91 years. Like not many people can say that they do that.
Yeah.
Because just because you inherit a business, I think that some people may look at your situation and say, oh, well, it was already doing good for the last 80 years. Now she has it. And when did you purchase it? What year?
So it was 2023.
Okay, so you recently purchased it.
Yep.
But like they might look at you and say, hey, she just went into this business and it was super easy.
Right.
And I don't think that's the case. When you have to like live up to this expectation and then you also have to branch out and do better. And your original stores were in Lynn.
Yes.
And now we're in Middleton, a higher price point area. And the vacuums you offer are like super high-end vacuums. And you also do central installs too, so central vac installs, which is so cool.
Which is huge. And they've got they have retractable hose systems now, so the hose gets sucked back into the wall, so you don't have to worry about like that.
When we moved to my mom's house, and it was like we moved from, and it was like this big adjustment because it's like,
oh yeah,
we went from the small house to like a 6,000 square foot house, so it was like a castle.
Yeah.
And it had a central vac, but you had to like take the hose out,
Right.
plug it in,
Yes.
and use it. My mom's like, this is really stupid.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
so we never used it. But it was really a cool concept, like
Right.
to have that. So now they have everything that's like retractable.
Yes. And that's a big part of it too, is like education.
Yeah.
Like explaining to people, you know, how it works, the benefits of it, the health benefits of it. Like it adds value to your house. Like it's just, if you're serious about cleaning, like that's the way you want to go for sure.
And I'm sure they all have like HEPA filters and all
Yeah.
these like crazy things. 'Cause I'm a
Yeah.
clean freak.
Perfect.
So I
can
feel
talk
like
later.
that's, that's so exciting. So
Yeah.
now are you getting into focusing more on like luxury, more items than you are like like, are you not selling like, what's that old vacuum?
Kirby's or Electrolux.
Was the Kirby the one that was like big and metal?
Yes, and it weighs like 10,000
Yeah, but it
pounds.
works the best.
It's like literally a tank, and you'll have that thing forever.
I
Like,
still have
it's-
my grandmother's, and I think that thing is like, I don't even know how old that thing
Yeah.
is.
Oh, they
but
last.
it works
Yeah.
unbelievable. But it's just only if you
heavy.
leave it in one room.
Right, yeah. You don't want to be going up and down stairs with that. Like, that's your workout for the day. Like, that's...
So do those still sell? Because I did see them online up until recently.
So we're actually not like an authorized dealer. So we don't sell Kirby. We repair them.
Okay.
But so like the brands that we carry Miele, we carry Riccar, we carry Sibo. Those are like the three.
My
like,
friend loves Mila.
yeah. Oh, they're
She's
phenomenal.
obsessed.
Yeah. That's another company. They've been around for 125 years. Like,
Have they really?
yeah.
That's so amazing.
Yeah. So it's like that solid quality German engineering, and it's just, they're meant to last, you know? So it's not like we're selling like the cheapo things that you can find at Walmart, like, you know, high-end
Yeah, I'm
things.
guilty of that.
It's okay. And that's okay.
I'm
Because we
guilty
can
of blowing
educate you,
through
we can
like a
help.
shark every month.
That's
like,
okay. See, if you invest in like a solid machine.
I know it would work, and I
Yeah.
say that with like skincare stuff
Anything,
too, and
right?
anything you
Yeah.
invest.
Exactly.
But I think that for me, with my animals, I just feel like I ruin
okay.
things. So I'm
Yeah.
like, no, I'll just get the cheap one. But then you end up spending the same amount of money,
Right.
Because you're just buying more
Yes.
of the same thing,
Right.
You know
exactly.
what I mean?
It's a vicious cycle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that you have a hard time competing with like things like Amazon and things like that? Because truthfully, up until I put that ad out for people to come on
Yeah.
the show for this, I had never heard of you.
Right. Yes. I feel like I almost categorize this as like a shoe cobbler. Like they're just
You're
kind of
like a
like
boutique store.
But it's like something that's almost old school. Sometimes people think it's aged out, but like we're really not though. I'm like here to almost
Everyone needs a
reinvent
vacuum.
it. Exactly. We're considered an essential business.
yeah.
So, I mean, it is something that everybody needs. And that's more of like, again, it's all about education. It's about, you know, getting the name out there. Like, I really try to like connect with people every single day to be like, hey, by the way, so what do you use to vacuum with? Like, and it kind of catches people off guard, but it gets the conversation going. So that's like what I'm looking for is, you know, more conversations, and like me and my employees were there to help people. So like we love talking vacuums. Like literally
Yeah.
everybody that works for me, like we could go on forever about
How they
shop.
work.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Stuff to do,
Yeah.
best systems to have.
Exactly. So, and it's really nice, like being able to go to a store, feel a product, like try it, see it, and then ask a human about
Yeah, and not be on
what
like
it
an
is.
answering service or
Right.
relying on like Amazon
Yeah.
reviews.
So that's like what I always say. Like, yeah, you can go on Amazon, you can buy that vacuum, but like, where are you going to go when you have questions? Where are you going to go about the warranty? Do you have a warranty?
Does
Do
it
you know
break?
that?
Like,
Right.
if it breaks, where do you
Yeah.
go?
Right. Exactly. So I mean, that's really what I focus on when people come at me with like well, why should I buy from you versus Amazon? Like, you're talking to a human. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, that's
And
the
even
right
if the
step.
price is different, it's like what you're getting. You know, let's just say your vacuum's $200 more just for giggles than the same vacuum on the internet. You know, I
Right.
mean, you're getting service, someone to speak to. You know, if there's question, if it breaks, like there's a point of
Yeah.
contact.
Right,
Whereas
exactly.
online, you're not getting that personalized
Right.
service.
And that's actually another good point too, is like our prices are the same as Amazon for like Miele's, the Sibos, the Riccars. So I mean, all of that stuff, like we're the same price. So it's not even like you're getting any, I mean, maybe just convenience of not having to leave the house. I get that. Like sometimes we all fall into that slump of like,
Yeah.
I can just lay in bed and order this vacuum. But I mean,
I've definitely
it
done
is.
that.
Oh, I mean,
I
I've
have that
ordered
like
stuff too.
Tinko one right now.
Okay, yes.
But
All
it's like
right.
the vac mop one.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I actually
have-
really like it, I have to say.
Okay. I haven't actually like
Do you guys have vac mops? Like
we don't
vacuum
have
and
that.
mop?
No, we don't, because I hate the combo of dirt and water together. Like,
Oh, it's super
my
gross.
God.
It's super gross.
I know people will bring me in like just like a pile of like parts that are like sopping wet and like muddy, and I'm like, oh gosh, get it away from me. But like, I haven't actually experienced that one yet, though. So that's I've heard of it though.
So
that's good.
other than like your social media growth, what other struggles do you feel like you've dealt with, like taking over a business that's this old?
So I mean, it's definitely on a personal level, it's balance.
Yeah, I was going to say, how are you balancing that? Because I'm sure like with traditional values, I'm sure like some of your uncles and stuff are still maybe involved. They might stop by or whatever. Maybe they did business differently.
Yes.
The way that you're planning on running it. How do you manage teaching them how you plan to scale? If that's your goal. I don't know if your goal is to scale.
Yes.
Or like, how do you manage that?
So I mean, like my relatives have passed, but my father still, likes to try to sneak in and be like, oh, so what you got going on over here? So he likes to try and get involved in certain aspects, and I don't know if he always like sees my vision. Our visions were very different because again, like older, like male versus, me, our visions were different.
Yeah. I also think it's the time. I don't know necessarily if it's because you're a female. I think it's more to like,
no, it's
like for instance, like my mom had skincare facilities in the 80s and 90s, and like I have one now. And the way she did mailers and postcards worked, and now like you would never do a postcard, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like a different mentality. They don't really understand that like there's just different ways to do things. I know when I was building the studio, Nick and I we're trying to tell my mom like the vision and how like we wanted to help businesses. And we were telling her about this last week.
Yeah.
And she was like, I just don't get it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. Nick's like, what do you mean? The media and this is like how people communicate.
Right.
You know?
Well, I mean, podcasts are the new Carson. That's what it is, and that's the best way for an older generation to kind of understand it. You know, it's the new late night.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what people need is just more awareness. And I think that's why I really pushed to do this. And and that's why I thought it was cool when I looked at your website and I was like, wow, there really isn't much. Like, why don't I know this business? If I'm from the North Shore.
Yes, exactly.
Like, and I vacuum every day 4,000 times a day. Why don't I know you?
Because we were in the yellow pages. If you're looking in the yellow pages, you would have been able to find us. But
so
that's
my goal is to find these businesses where I'm like, you guys are this hidden gem. What can we do to help? Like how maybe doing this show brings people to your website. We'll definitely have all your links to all your stuff on this too.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because it's unfortunate. Like, you know what you're doing.
Yes.
You clearly know what's up.
I love, like, literally, I get so geeked out. Like, I love.
You don't suck.
I love.
Like, literally. I mean, maybe like figuratively.
Our vacuums suck, but our service doesn't. But I really I love, I'm invested. Like, it literally is in my blood. Like, when I was a kid, I used to be like, oh, why can't my parents just own something cool like a bakery? And now, then I got older, I'm like, thank God they don't own a bakery. Like, I don't want to get up at 3 a.m. Like, that's really not that cool. Like, vacuum, I don't know. I do. I love it. I believe in it.
And your family went through some significant struggle considering their first location burnt to the ground.
So, yes. Yep. So that was actually back when my great uncle Mark was working for the owner, then Roy Chevalier. And Roy went on vacation, left Mark in charge, and it burns down. Like, I can't even imagine that happening to me today.
Can you imagine right now going on vacation and someone calling you, telling you your showroom burnt to the ground? If someone told me this studio burnt to the ground, I would call Nick and just cry.
Yeah.
I would also cry with you on the phone. There'd be lots of tears.
Yeah.
I have a question for you, Jillian, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
So your family obviously owned the business throughout your life growing up.
Yes.
Did you work there when you were a teen? I feel like it would be, it's an interesting thing. Like, did you just decide one day I'm going to buy my uncle's vacuum cleaner business? Like, what was that like?
Yeah. So my dad took it over. Well, my dad bought it in '89. And then I used to always go to the store with my parents. Like, a lot of times, my mom would have to go there, after she got us from school. So me and my brothers, we grew up in the store. And then it got to a point, we got a little older. My brothers, were off doing their thing. And I would be like, oh, I'm going to go to the store and I'm going to hang out. And then it was like, well, I want to try, fixing a vacuum. And my dad would be like, all right, well, here's this vacuum. Let's, take it apart and then put it back together.
So you do a lot of the service?
I don't
know how to do a lot of the service?
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah. And I enjoy it. I like working with my hands. So it's fun. But, I mean, certain things I get a little leery about, electrical stuff. Kind of freaks me out, but
but on a business side of things too, how could you employ people and check to make sure they're doing their job correctly if you don't even know what you're talking about?
Exactly. And that's a big thing with businesses. You got to know all of the moving pieces. But so yeah, when I was a kid, I would go and I would like tinker with vacuums, and then just kind of like watching my dad and like how he worked and how he dealt with people, and like watching his struggles. Like I saw it all. And then when I was in my early 20s, I decided to go work for my parents. So then I was an employee. So I'd worked for the store for about 17 years.
Oh, wow.
So it was, definitely a long time coming.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was handed the business.
Was your husband like surprised when you were like, hey, maybe we should buy this?
So he kind of had like
right after
an
COVID
inkling.
too. Like
yeah.
you're not even.
Yeah, it was wild because during COVID I was pregnant, and then after having my daughter, like I took some time off from work because I was actually like homeschooling my other two children.
Love it. All
at that
about
point.
that.
So it was about 2 years of a hiatus. And my dad one day during a family Zoom call was like, hey, I'm going to sell the stores and retire. I was like, does that mean I'm like fired?
Yeah.
Like,
So I didn't even like offer it to you. It was like in a family Zoom call.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to sell the store. It wasn't like, hey, Jill, I know you're really interested. What
Well,
is this
at
something
that
you want to
time,
take over?
were you interested?
So I kind of like flip-flopped back and forth.
Interesting.
To be honest, I went back and forth. And like, I knew that I wanted it.
Why
but
were
then,
you flip-flopping though?
Because then I had my kids.
Okay.
So it was like, how can I possibly make this work with 3 kids? Like that is so like
It's a lot.
overwhelming. 2 stores, 3 kids. Like, I don't know. I couldn't figure out how to make it work. And then after the Zoom call, my husband and I were talking, and I'm like, I don't know. I really want to buy the businesses. So after that, we talked for a while, and then I went back to work. And then it was just like, there was a switch that flipped. And it was like every customer that came in, they're like, we're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here. We don't know where we would go. We're so glad you're here. We've been coming here for 40 years, 50 years. Like, and
That's
it just
amazing.
made like my heart swell. And I'm like, this is it. This is the sign. Like, it's been here all along, but now I'm ready for it.
Yeah.
So I really had to be ready for it.
Yeah.
That's
and
what
then,
it came
so
down to.
you weren't anticipating at this time to purchase this business,
Correct.
which I can't imagine was a small amount of funding to do. So how did you like handle, hey, guess what, honey, we're going to buy this business. Like, did you have to like take out some loans?
Oh, yes.
Like how did, what was
Yeah.
that struggle like? Cause I feel like a lot of these entrepreneurs that either are want to be entrepreneurs or people who are really struggle with
Yeah.
funding and understanding like it's not as easy as you
It
think.
is not as easy. And that's why I get super defensive and kind of like snippy when people are like, oh, you were given the store. Like, no, I was not given the store. I got skin in the game. Like,
Yeah.
so we did get an SBA loan through TD Bank. Through Eastern Bank, and they were fantastic. And
That's
then
amazing.
I was able to get like some special loans because I was a woman-owned business. So I own.
That is cool.
Yeah, I own.
I don't have those.
I own 51%. My husband owns 49%. So I'm
Okay.
considered woman-owned. But the process was unbelievably tedious. Like I feel for people going through it because they don't make it easy. Like they want
No.
you to be like serious about it, and it's very long and drawn out, and it is what it is. I'm glad that we had to go through that, but yeah, it was not easy by any means.
Yeah, I feel like I said, like I grew up in like the skin industry, and I do this kind of the same thing my mom does in a way.
That's
so it's
awesome.
like you get that same kind of feeling. People are like, oh, you just kind of were given this type of thing, and you're like, no, I have to work my ass off and get this.
Right.
I had to like really try.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the question I just had, like totally, you ever just like go to say something and your head just like,
Yeah.
Baby brain.
No big deal. What prompted you to overhaul? So you had an established business, right? Where you guys are selling vacuums. People come in, they buy the vacuum. If they need repairs, they get it repaired. What prompted you to say, I want to do luxury vacuums, central vac, and kind of explode it to the next level?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my dad had already been selling Miele and Ricard.
is Ricard like which was better?
So, I mean, it all depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for like a solid upright or a really lightweight upright, I would go with a Ricard. If you're looking for, a rock solid canister that's going to be able to do carpets and bare floors, and I would go with Miele or Sibo. But so my dad did some of it, but he also had like a lot of other brands too. So I wanted to be like, you know what? I just want to go like for the brass ring. Like if I'm going to be here,
Yeah.
like I know that we can get the business. I've got the clients. Like I want to make this like, just an unbelievable experience for people.
Yeah.
I want to do away with all the piddly stuff and just sell the higher end stuff. And then like the central vac stuff, my dad always did that as well. And I want to explore that even more.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like, that's almost a whole other aspect to the business that I was always really afraid of. So the fact that like, that's like now where I'm like really excited
Yeah.
is kind of an interesting twist for me. So,
So I think this goes back to the whole like point of you doing these business spotlight podcast series because, again, you were in business till 2023 when you purchased it, doing one thing and a little bit of central vac and stuff.
yeah.
So the decision, it really is a new business. It's the same business, but it's a new business, and you could have just as easily failed.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I was going with that question was,
Yeah.
it's. You're taking over something you could have just as easily like squandered it to the ground as
Exactly.
it was, but
Yeah.
you took it in the opposite direction and expanded to new things.
Right.
So what was that process like?
So, well, it's funny because we had the store in Lynn, and it was kind of like stepping back in time. So the store in Middleton, my dad opened 17 years ago, and
Okay.
like it was, at the time very current, very modern, very fresh, like great. And then like you go to the Lynn store, and it was very like shop feeling. It was night and day, and I was like, to get where I want to be, Lynn was going to hold me back, and it was
I agree.
such a hard decision to be like, all right, peace out. You've been
And
here
that
for,
was their original location, correct?
right. Yeah. So I mean, it was hard emotionally to get over. Like, all right, I've got this, spot. People knew us for this spot, but like now I'm going to close it, and I'm going to focus all of our time and energy into the Middleton store because I really believe that's where it's at. So it was hard. It was a tough decision, but sometimes it's addition by subtraction. So
Yeah.
I stand firmly in my decision. I'm so grateful that we did it. I haven't looked back since.
Yeah.
So it's just onwards and upwards.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you find that your business actually grew? I know you bought it at a time where like COVID was still,
Yeah.
it's still pretty prevalent now.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it is.
Yeah.
People are into cleaning things a little bit more. Do you find that COVID may in some ways have helped your business with people looking for like better options versus like going to Walmart or
absolutely.
Amazon?
Absolutely. So, I mean, with the higher end vacuums, you get the higher end HEPA filtration. I mean, that in itself is huge. Like you don't get the same quality, like HEPA filters and just filtration overall is like being even like a sealed machine that you would in, Walmart
Yeah.
or Home Depot, places like that. So, I mean, people definitely come to us seeking that. Like SIBO has hospital grade filtration in their machines.
And those also are bagged, so you
Yes.
don't open them. So I think that I read this recently, and I mean, you would be the person to ask that like these canister vacuums that everyone has that they like open when they're dumping them is actually is really bad for you because like all of the particles are like literally going in your face.
Right. Yes.
Versus like having a bag where you would just throw it out.
Right. So pretty much the major companies, they still have their bagless machines, but they don't have as many. I mean, stick vacs are super popular, and they have the,
Yeah.
canister that you would empty out. But like people who have asthma, health issues, you always want to go with a bag because it's way healthier. And then that, you can take it a step further and even go central vac because that is like the healthiest way to vacuum your house because the canister isn't even in the main
It's
living
in your
part.
Mine was in my garage.
Yeah, exactly. They're always in the garage, the basement, and even the filtration on those is still amazing. So, I mean, if you're super worried about, allergens, dust mites, things like that, central vac by far.
So when you took over, how many employees were there?
So there were including my dad, there was 3.
Okay.
So then I
So not
actually
many.
no. And then when I was still working for my dad, anticipating purchasing the stores, I actually hired my brother-in-law. So
Okay.
I went through the training with him and like got him to where he needed to be. And so, I mean, we're getting there. Plus, I have some subcontractors, which is super helpful.
So it's still very family.
Yes.
But how was the transition between like you working there and then all of a sudden like you're these people's boss now?
It
Was that like a weird time?
I was 8 years old when I met Nancy, who has been there for 33 years.
She's like, I raised you.
Yeah. She's like, I remember when we used to play with ponies here at the store, and now you're my boss. I was like, how do you feel about
Sorry.
No, but it's been fantastic. Like, I'm so grateful for just the dedication and loyalty that they show me and the respect, and just like, it's so amazing. Like, I could not ask for a better position to be in. Like, awesome. We are just like a team. We really are.
So is your goal to like, what are your goals to expand? I mean, I know you're in Middleton.
Yeah.
I'm sure your showroom's beautiful. We have to get your pictures online. We're
Yeah.
going to have to, we're going to work together
Yes.
besides this to get you up and going
Fantastic.
with that.
Yeah.
But so what's our goal? Like, how are you planning to scale? Do you like where you're at?
So
like,
I honestly love where we are, because being right on 114, like the traffic area it's
where
insane.
on 114 are you?
So do you know where Dairy Queen is? on
Yeah,
114?
of course I
In
know
that
where Dairy-
plaza. We are right in that plaza.
Okay.
So yeah, traffic visibility is fantastic.
Yeah.
I love the
Oh
location.
my God, you're right next to Market Basket?
Yeah.
Yeah, right before Market
Right,
Basket.
right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, like that
Yeah.
CK
Yeah.
furniture store that's like closing all the
They're
time.
slammed.
I
That
know.
is like prime real estate.
Such a good spot.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, if anything, I wish I had a bigger space. Like, I'm trying to deal with that, because consolidating 2 stores to 1 has been a bit of a challenge.
Do you carry a lot of your inventory, like your vacuums on site, or do they do like a
Yes.
drop ship option where they could like make it easier for you on the business end? Because I know having to purchase a large amount of
Yes.
inventory
Yep.
it's scary, especially
is.
like when you just bought a business. Now you're like, I ran out of this vacuum.
Yeah, but let's be
Yeah.
honest, especially when it's vacuums, it's not French
They're big.
fries here.
Yeah, right.
You know what I
I'm
mean? Like,
saying. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that plaza is big, but
Yeah.
not those storefronts aren't that. Dairy
Right.
Queen's not that big. I've been
No.
there multiple
Yeah.
times.
no, that's a little spot.
Yeah.
there. It's good. It's good spot, but it's
Yeah,
a little
it's a great
Yeah.
spot. It's just
Yeah.
small. So
Right.
how do you have like a separate warehouse
I
where you
do,
keep
actually.
these things?
So I do have an off-site storage unit that's like 3 minutes, 4 minutes from the store.
Okay.
So I keep, some inventory in the store, basically like one of each,
At least one of each
Yeah.
one or something.
or like multiple of like the most popular ones. But
Yeah.
like if I need something in a pinch, it's like right up the street. So
That's really
that's
good.
helped tremendously with trying
Because in
to.
my head, like I know, I have skincare downstairs.
Yeah.
It's not that
Right, it's
large
a-
of
yeah.
a item.
Right,
Like I can't
yeah.
imagine like boxes and
Yeah.
vacuums
right.
everywhere.
yeah. So we try to keep that streamlined, because I don't want clutter. So I try to keep it to
Yeah, I
a
hate
minimal.
the clutter.
Yeah,
I hate
that's not my friend.
So did you like renovate this space to make it like a little bit more high end and
Yes.
whatnot?
So we're still in the process of like getting all that done, because now it's like, so now that I've closed the Lynn store, because that was a huge undertaking, I literally was going through 90 years of stuff, like literally things that were just like the dust, just like,
You're like,
my
I
gosh.
need a vacuum.
Yeah, I'm like, this is insane. But I mean, like the parts and stuff that were kept for so long. So
That must be cool, like artifacty type pieces.
Yeah. I mean, I actually had somebody that was interested in a lot of the stuff that I didn't have any use for. So they drove up from New Jersey.
Did you
So, like-
keep any, like, did you have like old school vacuums that were like 90 years old and stuff? Did you keep any of that stuff for like nostalgia, like viewing?
So he actually took all that stuff. This person that came up from New Jersey, because I was like, I can't. I don't know. There's so much stuff, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
Like, I have pictures.
That's cool.
So
You could
yeah,
blow them up.
Yeah, exactly.
Take no space.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be nice in a frame somewhere. But yeah. So trying to like figure out the space has been, a task. But we're getting there, and it's just been like I've gone from working 7 days a week to like I still work 6 days a week, but I'm not in the store, and it's wild. Like I'm out
Yeah.
doing things. Like after this, I'm going to Marshfield for an estimate. So it's just like
It's cool when you're
it's
not
different.
you're not like in the store all
yeah,
the time.
yeah.
Well, this is the first business that you've owned, correct?
Yes,
So
correct.
what did you learn about like this business or like about business in general that maybe you didn't know before?
Oh my God, everything. Like I just thought like, I'm going to buy the stores. I'm going to sell vacuums. I love vacuums. I'm going to go sell them. And it's not like that.
No.
It's
Taxes,
it's-
payroll.
oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Exactly. It's so much more. And I love it. Like I do. I honestly love it. And I just want to, I always want to keep things fresh and interesting so that I don't lose like this,
Yeah.
and I think that that's really important in business, because like once the shimmer starts to fade a little bit, people
Yeah.
start to get a little complacent and comfy. Like, that's not good. I think that you constantly have to be looking for the next thing, the next best thing, the next biggest thing.
Yeah.
To keep things, interesting and, for your customers too, because they want that.
Absolutely.
If that's what they're used to.
And I'm sure the technology is ever evolving too. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't even tell you how many vacuums in my life, and it's always like some new ultra tech thing. So I can't imagine like these high end vacuums don't also have that.
Exactly. So I mean, it's just keeping up on the latest and greatest, and
I'm sure like coming on a podcast was not something that you like planned, but kind of probably out of your comfort zone too.
Absolutely, 100%.
But I think it's good for you because I mean, it's seriously, I think a disservice that like you've been open this long and people don't know who you are.
Right.
So I think like what is your like game plan for goals? Because obviously like I grew up here, right? I've never heard of you. My mom, I asked my mom.
Yeah.
She was like, no, like I don't know who they are. So like what's your marketing strategy like moving forward to like build more anticipation? Like are you going to do like events or something?
So I do want to start doing events. I want to do more like customer loyalty programs.
Yeah.
Like that's something that we never did. And because I do a lot of business with cleaners. So
That's cool.
even to like, they are a great resource. Like they're amazing. Like we literally have like our following of cleaners, but they have their own networks.
Yeah.
So it's working with them to maybe be like, hey, on your, the groups or whatever, threads that you're on, can you just like share this? And they're all willing to do it. So it's just more like, all right, I got to get everything into place.
So like a commission-based program maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I would totally do that. I think that no one's going to do anything for free.
Right,
But
exactly.
like if you give
They'll
them
get a
little skin,
kickback.
if they get
Exactly.
a kickback, like they'll totally do that. So I definitely feel like having some sort of like referral program,
Yes.
or even if you're current clients, like,
Right.
For example, I buy a central vac from you. I recommend my friend. Maybe I get like one free service
Right,
or like whatever
absolutely.
cleaning,
Right.
like whatever it may
Absolutely.
be. I think that
Absolutely.
might be something that people might be interested in.
Right, exactly. No, absolutely. That's definitely been something that's been in the works.
I think you should make videos. I think you should have I think you should remake those classic video commercials of like people taking, Nick, you know what I'm talking about? Like people taking
I would love
Right?
to do something like
So
that.
think about, say we even did it in here, right? You just like throw Cheerios and have smash them all up on the
Like you
floor.
mean like the '90s, the black and white ones that
yeah,
go to
like-
then color when you have the
Yeah, and
that
then like
could be
they
cool.
vacuum them
Yeah.
up and like see which vacuum picks
Right.
up. I think that you need to create, and this is just like off the top of
The
my head.
unsolicited advice of Alexis.
Yeah,
of
my
science.
but like think about how cool that would be.
No,
Like
I
you've
love
been
it.
open for all these years. Like what if you took the like vintage nostalgic
Yes.
look of the media and made it to like today's
Well, it's
Right.
not even just
Stuff.
that. Like the clientele is, I mean, obviously it's anybody who wants to and can afford a vacuum. But the new homeowner, new generation of people is people that grew up in the '90s and early 2000s watching those commercials. So the
Yeah.
nostalgia factor is huge. It's a good idea. I like
Yeah.
that.
I think it'd be kind of cool.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, remember, like, what was his? I forget the guy's name. He had,
David
like,
Orrick,
Yeah, he had like
the bowling ball.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You have all these like commercials, and there's this other one. I forget this other guy. He like spills something on the ground or whatever, and then he vacuums it all up, and he's like, "See how good this sucks everything up." And you were like,
Yeah.
"That's so cool!" And my mom bought that vacuum. Like she
Right.
thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
But then my grandma said they used to do like parties. Like she had like little
A vacuum,
So-
like a Tupperware party.
Kind of
Oh my
like that. It was like a thing.
Oh my
That's how she
God.
told me she got her vacuum. It was like
so
That's
through a
funny.
party. Maybe she
wild.
was
That's how
at
she got her Tupperware, a vacuum, or Mary Kay
Yeah.
makeup, everything.
All in one.
all in
Yeah.
one. You just have one lady who's a 10.99 for everybody. She has everything in her garage. She's like, "What lotion do
amazing.
you want? And
Yeah.
which bag
Right?
vacuum do
That's
you want?"
perfect. That's perfect.
But I think that would be really cool for
Yeah.
you because it would create that kind of like history behind it.
Yeah.
And like even getting some cool pictures like of you at the store when you were a kid. I think that's like really cool.
right. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Because I think that people need to they'll love you. People will buy from you because they like and you're honest. You're like, "Hey, this is how this works.
Right.
Like I can fix this." You're not just an owner that hasn't
Right.
fixed it.
Right.
So it's not like you're talking to them from like, "Oh, I'm just the business owner."
Right.
You're like, "I could take this thing
Right.
apart in my sleep."
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
and I
Yeah.
think that once people like get to know who you are, it's easy to buy from you because you're a nice person, you present yourself well, and you have a good product.
Yeah.
It's pretty fairly
right.
simple.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I'm very excited for like the next step. So it's I'm like, why can't there be more hours in the day? Like, oh my gosh, that would
want
be
to hustle constantly.
Exactly. It's so hard to like turn that part of your brain off.
Oh yeah.
Like I'll be laying in bed and like, should I just go and like just do something really quick? And then it's like, no, like there's a time, like the day has to end.
It's the work-life balance that is hard. And I can definitely attest to this, like as a mom too. Like you want to make sure you're there for them.
Yeah.
But like also as someone who grew up in their parents' businesses, like I wouldn't have traded that for anything.
Right.
I think that I turned out very different than a lot of the other kids that were my age because I was almost older. You know, I feel like my mom always says like, when you were 6, you were really like 35. Yeah. Like it just like, it was just always something that was in me. And I feel like, do you want to get your kids want to be involved? Like, are we trying to pass this on? I mean, not hand it off. They can work for it.
No, absolutely.
Like,
they'll be buying it. No.
Yeah.
But no, it's interesting because like my dad used to always say to me like, this is my dream. And as much as I want it to be yours too, like I really want to see that you want it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I would never be disappointed if you didn't want the store. Because my 2 younger brothers, like they never had any interest. It was never like a thing for them. It was always me. So even like with my kids, like in my head, I'm like, all right, like I think it's fantastic when they come with me and like they start to get like excited about little things or like they want to like fix a vacuum. And I'm like, oh,
that's so cool. And then you have 3 girls.
Yeah.
So it's not even like they're like tinkering little boys that like this stuff. Like they're girls that are like, hey, like I can fix this. Yeah. And I think that's so bad. I think that's so cool, especially in an age where like these kids are so disconnected from the normal world. They're so like tech savvy. Yeah. But like physically putting your hands on something and fixing it is a skill that many kids don't have now. Right. Exactly. So I think that's so cool that they're like into that.
So I mean, my hope is that, I mean, of course, like in my dreams, I'm like, oh, it'd be so amazing if I could continue it on. Like even with my, so even like my niece and my nephew, like they go to the store and I'm like, oh, maybe like if it doesn't work out with my kids, maybe like them. But honestly, like I understand that, you know, it could possibly end with me. But you know what? I can't get ahead of myself.
I think if you plant those seeds early enough with them and like you have them in there, I mean, I felt like I was destined to do what I'm doing now. Like there was no other option. I might have went like a really rough way to get there comparative
as
to
we
like,
all do. Right?
If I just like listened to my mom, maybe it would have been a lot easier. Yeah. But I think like just like bringing them there, having them do that, and even like I think it's so important even for them to learn like sales.
Absolutely. Just like being able to like communicate with people, like making eye contact, like your body language, just like the way, like literally the way you present yourself, not even just like physically, like what the clothes you're wearing, although it helps. But I mean like being able to like connect with people, it's huge. Like I can anticipate somebody's needs or like finding out their needs and like being able to, you know, suggest certain products are going to work best for them. And like the only way to get there is to like have conversations with them, like not texting.
I know a lot of people, and I struggle with this myself in my own businesses, is hiring, right? Because like the generation is very different. Yes. Do you feel like you're going to be hiring more people from like outside sales to kind of get you more people to come in? Like how is that process going to look for you with the generation of people that don't exactly want to work?
It is very scary because I see it and it's, troublesome thinking like, oh gosh, like this is what we're up against. Yeah. So I always try to ask around like, so, are you looking, do you know anybody that's looking for a job or who would you recommend? Like I always try to like start with people I know and like see who they would recommend and like why they would recommend them. And if that's, a good fit, like, all right, cool. Like, let's explore this more. But I feel like we are going to be getting to a point where, yes, you're
going to need outside salespeople.
Yes.
I wouldn't say like door knockers, but I would be like,
but it's
calling existing clients.
Exactly.
Like, especially your clients. I think a big missed market for a lot of people that have a product based business, especially like we'll use Central Vac for an example. Maybe they got it installed 20 years ago.
Yes, exactly.
And you have just been so busy with the day to day. Maybe and also like you taking over this business, it was probably all done on paper before. So now you're digitizing everything.
Yes.
Maybe you forgot about Sally who bought this, but if you had someone that reached out to her and was like, hey, we have this new updated thing, like it would be easy to get her business and build your business that way with the already current people that you have.
Absolutely. 100%. And then also even just like going and talking to like contractors, like that's huge. Like that's really like another untapped, resource.
Totally. I own a construction company too, and I never even thought to like even think about that.
Yeah. It's just like, it's all about like getting out there, making connections and just, conquering the world.
Now Nick knows, right? He always says, Alexis, every time you meet someone, you always like find a fun way to like involve their business. So now I'm gonna be downstairs and be like, I know a vacuum lady. He's gonna be like, this is what you do. Because like how else are you supposed to help people out? Like I just talk about everyone.
Yep.
And for me, like we have a lot of traffic. So if you have like a cool little rack card or something, we can put it downstairs for you.
Yeah.
But it was so good to have you on the show. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Do you guys what's your social media? Like, do you have a Instagram or anything that people can follow you on?
So, well, our website's www.northshorevacuum, all one word, .com. Instagram is in the process of getting up and running, but we are on Facebook. You can follow us, like us on Facebook, and keep looking for us. Come in and see us. Come talk to us. Like I'm
excited to come in and see you. Like I want to buy a vacuum now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys. Please follow us at The Real Aesthetic Pod or on Instagram, Real Aesthetic Pod, and our new one is TRA Pod on X now. We're trying to get a little fancy. Tune in on Fridays. The Spotlight series will be put out the same way as the live ones, Fridays at 12. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Next station, Northport. Interchange station, Dunn of Northshore.